and he was, I'm not going to lie to you, it looked like he was getting absolutely demolished from behind. Hello, welcome back to A Fantastic Time with me, Taher Houssain. I know I said a new episode every week, but it might be every 2 weeks just because holiday, New Year, you know how it goes. But I hope you've had a wonderful Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. If you don't, well, I hope you've had a nice couple days off because that's always nice. I know it's quite chill if you don't celebrate Christmas. My family at home don't celebrate Christmas, but we do like a nice little Christmas meal, that kind of stuff. It's quite sweet actually. And if you've had a Friendsmas over the last few days or anything like that, that's amazing too. I believe this episode will come out probably just after the new year, so if that's the case, Happy New Year to you as well. Hopefully you've made all your New Year resolutions, you know, the typical stuff, you know, gonna start eating healthy, gonna sort my life out, gonna hit the gym. I'm waiting to see the influx of New Year's resolution people in the gym. It usually lasts for about a month, meaning for the whole of January and a bit of February, I will not be seeing any of the machines whatsoever. No matter how much I try, I'll be waiting in line for at least a good 10 minutes, maybe 15 on a bad day, for any machine, for any dumbbell. The dumbbells are going to be all over the place. They were all over the place already. Now they're going to be, I don't know, upstairs, downstairs, next to the leg machines. They're going to be everywhere, unfortunately. But back to what I was saying, I do hope you had a nice holiday, got everything you wanted for Christmas. You know, hopefully you've made your New Year resolution plans, all that good stuff, and you're just ready to just smash it out. Actually stick to it this year. That's the goal. That's the main thing. But to backtrack a bit onto Christmas, I hope you've been to the Christmas market. This year I didn't get around to going to many, unfortunately, just because I've been so busy with work, this, that, and the other. And again, still trying to get my bearings around London and where to go, where not to go, tourist traps, this, that, and the other. But last year I went to all sorts. I went to Cardiff, Exeter, Bristol. I think I went to some other one as well, some small town one as well. I love a good Christmas market just because you get all these people doing their, you know, their arts and crafts. You get very unique stuff, very niche stuff, and very brick and mortar, I believe it is, like individual like sellers and stuff like that. I think I had like chai, like proper chai from like India and all sorts that they like brewed up. They were like, hey, we want to focus on doing authentic chai, not this mass produced stuff. Like it's like matcha, like the new matcha craze. Like I used to drink matcha before all of this like blank street coffee, this, that, and the other. Before, you know, it's bad when Starbucks, Costa Coffee, and all of them lot start selling a specific type of drink. It happened with chai, and now it's happening with matcha. But when you go to those places, you're like, this is the most watered down thing I've had in my life. It's awful. It's awful. I wouldn't recommend it. Just go to a bubble tea shop. I haven't had a blank street coffee. I'm not sure if it is good, if it's just all the hype, just because it looks nice and it's all over TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Let me know if that's the case, if it's actually worth going to, or is it just a whole waste of time. I have to say, the one thing that this matcha craze or this chai latte craze, when it hits like the big stores or like the chain coffee shops and Christmas markets, the one thing that they've got in common is the pricing, because absolutely extortionate. I have to say, I think a coffee or a matcha or whatever is around £4 to £5 already. If you ask me, that's quite steep, especially if you're not getting like a little pastry or something with it. Like I know I found some coffee shops, at least in like zone 3 and above, where if you get a coffee with them, they'll give you a little pastry or something with it, and that'll come out to £4.50 or £5, and I think that's amazing value for money compared to just paying £5 for just one little matcha. I think that's absolutely insane. But it's the same at these Christmas markets. Of course, it's very unique stuff. It's handcrafted. It's all this seasonal stuff. It's amazing. It's great. However, they price it so much. It's very expensive. For like a small bowl of food, it's like £12, £10 sometimes. And I'm like, it's good food, and it's seasonal, and it's cold outside, and the food is hot, and you know, you're just feeling cozy, you're feeling the season, the lights, all that good stuff. The atmosphere is 10 out of 10. I think I've never been to Winter Wonderland, but I assume it's sort of like a massive Christmas market. That's what I'm assuming. I don't know. Please let me know if it is. I know they've got games and stuff there, I think, as well. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. But it's just extortionate prices. it's just so expensive. And I'm just thinking, when a cost of living crisis, and then you're out here giving us these seasonal markets, which are absolutely amazing. And I know you're trying to make money and you should make your money. But at the same time, it does hurt a bit when I have to part with, I think, £10 for 2 chai lattes that are handcrafted and they're properly made from India, or I'm paying for like loaded chips and it's about £6 to £7. And I'm like, this is potatoes with a bit of gravy or curry sauce, salt, vinegar, and all that good stuff. But I'm paying it just because I want to be part of the culture, just because I want to be part of the festivities and all that good stuff. But it is a very expensive time. And that's not including the presents you have to buy. Like, I know for some people, if you don't celebrate Christmas, amazing, your pockets are safe. You can save that money or spend it on yourself. Use all these sales to your advantages. And that's what I did. I spent a bit of money on myself because, I don't have to buy too many presents. However, I do have to buy some presents just because me and my friends, we do a little Secret Santa, just because every single year we used to do like individual presents for everybody. But then that got very expensive as our tastes got expensive as we got older. So now we just do one present for one person, a Secret Santa. That's quite nice. I mean, you just cap it out. But then you've got Secret Santa at work, you got this, you got that. And so you end up spending a lot of money anyways. So my heart goes out to everybody who has spent a lot of money during the Christmas period. God forbid it's someone's birthday. If it's your birthday, 10-10, amazing. Unless it's on Christmas Day, then they're going to be like, well, Christmas Day and birthday is the same day for you, which means you only gain singular presents a year. That's quite tragic, actually. I'm so sorry. My heart goes out to you. But to those who have got their birthday, just around Christmas or just, a little bit after, a little bit before, congratulations. I think you've won the lottery. I think that's quite nice. You get it all in basically one hit in that one little month. And that's quite nice, I think. But I can imagine it being very, very expensive, especially as an adult, just because New Year's is just around the corner. And you have to do something for New Year's. I think it's the tradition. You always have to do something for New Year's, whether it's going out for a nice time, go to a bar, restaurant, this, that, and the other, go on a proper night out, all that good stuff, or you just have a nice night in, put on a film, get a couple takeaways. Notice I said a couple takeaways. You can't just do one. You might have to have a range, just so there's spice it up just a bit. And put some nice cozy films on, play some board games, all that good stuff. Still, you're spending money. However, it's less expensive than going out on New Year's Eve, where every single bar, every single restaurant, every single venue, for some reason, which never used to have an entry fee, now has an entry fee. They're like, it's £8 just to step foot in this establishment. And it's probably just because they want to manage foot traffic and make sure they've got the correct numbers and everything, and they can actually handle the craze that is New Year's Eve. However, at the same time, I'm just like, this is just another way for you to make money. This is just another way for you to hit that bottom line, just making sure, hey, we can stay open for the new year. Especially when everything slows down. I feel like in January, everything slows down just because people are not that, I say people aren't that affluent. You have just been paid at the end of the year. Like, it's the end of the month, start of the year. So you're getting paid. So they've got money, but they just don't want to spend it just because they've been spending their savings the month prior on this, that, and the other. So to everybody listening, my heart goes out to your wallets, because I know it has been, and it still is, a very hard time because, all those gifts, all that money, it's not the best, especially if you've got a holiday booked as well, because people love to book a holiday around the winter, December season. So yes, my heart goes out to your wallet, goes out to your savings, it goes out to your bank accounts, because it's not looking good. And I hope nobody's Klarna'd or like buy now, pay later. No one did any of that, because again, it's not worth it. So don't do that, because that is a scam and they will get you in crippling debt. And you do not want to be crippled. No, you do not. But anyways, I've got another story. And this one has to go back to Instagram. Instagram is just pulling out all the craziness, I have to say. I know last week, or on my last episode, I talked about these mediums on Instagram just doing these reels, and I believe they're on TikTok. I haven't found them on TikTok yet, but they're on Instagram reels, and they're doing, they're connecting to the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th dimension. And one guy was claiming to an extraterrestrial alien who was selling a course on Instagram, because of course he's an alien. Why wouldn't he sell a course on Instagram? But this time I have found something a little bit more bizarre. And you might be thinking, what's more bizarre than people claiming to, to connect to another dimension or claiming to be an alien. I was scrolling through and then all I see is this lady, lying down on a yoga mat, this guy with his arm around her neck and his other hand just out of shot, but near her waist, shall we say. And she's just moaning and convulsing and breathing in a very particular way, suggesting a very inappropriate thing, maybe not user-friendly, maybe not too PG for children and all that stuff on Instagram. It's definitely, it's bordering on the guidelines. And I'm just sat here thinking to myself, what actually is this? And then I saw another one, and another one, and another one, another one. It literally looked like this guy, he was on all fours, on what looks like to be like a gurney or something, or some sort of mattress or bed or whatever you want to call it. And he was, I'm not going to lie to you, it looked like he was getting absolutely demolished from behind. However, there was nothing behind him, and he was just convulsing and breathing really weirdly and heavily, suggesting, again, some very inappropriate stuff. And I was just like, what is this? What is going on? And there's a guy stood in front of him, just being like, yeah, keep going, don't worry, you're doing it great, amazing, keep on going, like, breathe, slow down, now pick up the pace, and all that good stuff. And I was just like, what's happening? Like what's actually happening? Another lady, she was like breathing, but she was crying. It looked like she was hyperventilating. It looked like she was going through like some sort of like, I don't know, she was going through like a moment in time, and she was just not having a good time. It looks like she was revisiting some past trauma or something. So I end up doing some reading on what this actually was, because of course they've got it in the comments, they've got it on their Instagram page, and it's coaches. Again, it's always these goddamn coaches, but they're basically trying to teach you how to breathe out your emotions, breathe out your issues, breathe out all this nasty stuff, and, try to find a semblance of peace and rhythm and all that good stuff. And god damn it. Like, don't get me wrong, you can, bring yourself back to, like, some sort of calmness through breathing, breathing through your mouth, 5 seconds, hold, then breathing out through your nose, like, that's an actual thing. And like actual like voice actors, singers, anybody who does any kind of voice work, you'll know that, breathing and doing these breathing exercises to open up your throat, loosen your mouth, like release tension in your body, that actually works. That's an actual thing. But this is on a whole nother level. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it looks so inappropriate. You cannot be, this is like yoga gone wrong. This is like extreme yoga. However, you're not doing any yoga. It's just all breathing exercises. It's a mixture of yoga and breathing exercises. If they had like an inappropriate bastard child, this is what it would be. And I'm just like, again, how are people believing this? What is this? And I'm like, they better not be paying more than 20 quid for these classes. And I'll put it to you like this. Most martial art classes are not usually £20. I found stuff in London for about 15. And you're telling me like these online coaches are charging probably about 20, 25 for these breathing classes and for you to attend them in person. I'm like, it's just not worth it. And some of them are in like, or most of them are in like very athletic gear and all that, very loose. And I'm thinking, you're not doing anything athletic. You're not even doing yoga. You're not even doing Pilates, which is quite vigorous from what I hear and quite, stressful. You're not doing any of that. Why are you wearing all this athletic gear? Like, this is making no sense whatsoever. It's bizarre is what it is. And again, people are buying into it. I implore you, don't buy into it. Do not be giving these people your money. And of course, hey, I know everybody's got to make their money. Everybody's got to make a living. I said this last time. However, there must be a better way to go about it. Fair enough. If you can trick people into believing that they can heal all their past traumas via breathing and, breathing exercises and all that, I feel like this is like, somebody watched Demon Slayer. They watched Demon Slayer and they were like, well, of course I can do this. This is true. This is based on pure reality. This animation about Japanese swordsmen killing demons. Yeah, of course, it's real. It's all real. Of course you can do that. And that's what they're teaching. They're teaching you to breathe out your past traumas so you can do thunder style, stone style, flower breathing, insect breathing. They want you to do all the breathing styles. Because why not? Because they believe in you and your ability to slay whatever demons you have in your life or in real life or whatever. This will get you through by doing sexual breathing noises and convulsing as if you're in The Exorcist or you're going through an exorcism. Good God. Honestly, if you put a priest or any kind of religious figure in front of them while they were convulsing, you think they were going through an exorcism. Like, genuinely, it looked like something out of a horror film. And then they're crying and they're breathing. I'm like, what is this Are you inducing a panic attack? Is that what's happening? Are you just inducing fear and trauma and all this other rubbish? I'm just like, surely there's a better way to spend your money, your time, and get over your issues. I recommend, and I'm not a therapist or a psychologist of any regard. However, maybe talk to somebody, maybe a friend, maybe pick up a hobby, maybe write down what's been bothering you, about your past, about what's currently going on in your life. Talk to a therapist, anybody, anything. Just don't do this. Again, maybe pick up a sport, go to the gym, go running, healthy ways. Again, this is a healthy way. I'm not going to say it isn't, just because it's not hurting anybody and you're doing something on your own time. However, you must admit it is a bit strange. I think regular breathing exercises, maybe yoga, maybe even Pilates, would have the same effect, probably even better, because I know that actually has some actual mental and physical benefits to you that you can use. And I implore you to do that, because this breathing sexual moaning is very bizarre. And also, you do realize these people have recorded you. Like, you've signed the waiver saying, yes, I would like to be recorded and I don't mind being on the Instagram, just doing all this weird suggestive stuff that is bordering on the terms and conditions and the guidelines on Instagram. I hope somebody pulled that video up on Christmas Day, like in front of the entire family, the extended family to be specific, because I feel like that would be a scene. I feel like you'd get written out of the will. If there was a will, if there was an elderly person in your family and they were, ready to just teeter, I think watching that video would cause them to take you out of the will. Just because, what am I giving money to? Is this what you're going to be spending the money I give you? On? That's mental. I would rather burn the money. I'd rather go and give it to a charity or to some criminal organization than to have you convulse on Instagram in a very inappropriate way. What are people thinking? Instagram, again, I spend a lot of time on there and you just see some of the most craziest stuff. Another thing that I saw recently, actually, was in London. I think there's this club or this venue that you can hire out, and they are doing a very specific event. And this is like a party or like a night out. However, it is for men, specifically 6 foot and above. So this is for the girls. So the girls, if you're looking for a man who is 6 foot and above, there is a party, there is a venue, there is a event specifically catered to you. Now, I can't guarantee that they'll be rich. I cannot guarantee that they'll be lookers, but I can guarantee that they'll be 6 foot, because apparently there's going to be a couple doormen at the door with tape measures. Anybody claiming to be 6 foot and isn't 6 foot, if they don't invite them to that event, if they don't go, if they don't attend, they're lying. That's all I'm saying. So if you're talking to a guy, or if you've got a friend who's claiming to be 6 foot and you have a strong suspicion because you're 5'11" or 6'1", that they're not 6 foot or above, please send them to this establishment, send them to this event, and we'll see. We'll see if it's for real, if they're actually 6 foot. If they are, hoorays, you get to go in and have a very nice time and, meet people who want you for your height and nothing else. They want nothing else but you being 6 foot. And also, if you're denying that you like 6 foot guys, and you like 6 foot guys, just go to the event. No one's going to judge you. No one's going to judge you. Hey, we've all got our personal preferences. I myself am not 6 foot, so I cannot and will not even attempt to go to this event, because that is, 1, mental, and 2, is that a bit of a fetish? Does that make it a fetish? Just because you're going to this event because people will only like you because you're 6 foot. And does that make the people going there for these 6 foot men, does that make does that mean they've got a height fetish? Is that a thing? Is that a thing, a height fetish? It probably is. And if you attend that, if you attend the event, and if that is your thing, no judgment. but just be honest. Just own it. You've got to own it in your heart. Wear it with pride. That's all you're looking for. That you're not here for the looks. That you're not here for the money. You're not here for stability. You're here for the height. And I respect that. That's amazing. That's amazing. And I think you should. But also, I would like to stay, get a chair, put it across the road, outside the event, just so I can see a couple guys get rejected and argue with the bouncers that they are indeed 6 foot. Also, I want to make sure, or I want to see if they make them take off their shoes. Because that's the real kicker. Because you've got some boots, you've got some Air Force Ones give you a whole inch, I'm pretty sure. And some boots, they'll give you 2, maybe 2.5, something of the sorts. You might see some guys rocking up in high heels for all we know. So I'm gonna be curious. Do they make them take off their shoes? And is it gonna be on the pavement, or is it gonna be inside the venue, like a little waiting room, like a little entry room before you actually enter into the main event? That would be very interesting. That would be a sight to behold, if anything. So if anybody does attend, or if you've got a friend attending, or if you're a girl or a guy, or if you're a guy, you have to be 6 foot. But if you're a girl who's attending the event, drop a little comment in the comment section, because I'd really like to know what how this event turns out, if it's any good, or is it going to be just a bunch of people too shy to admit that that's what they're after, and then no one's going to go. Because, all I'm going to say is, the guys who are 6 foot, I don't think they're going to be going to this event, because they're already 6 foot. I think it's going to be the guys teetering on 5'11", maybe 5'11 and a half, maybe even 5'10", who are going to just waltz in and be like, yeah, of course, yeah, I'm 6 foot, and then get absolutely demolished by the bouncer when he pulls out that tape measure. It's not going to be a good look for anybody, unfortunately. But hey, I respect the attempt to be 6 foot. And also, if they don't make you take off your shoes, then screw it, go. Fake that 6 foot. If they're not checking properly by making you take off your shoes and making you take off your top hat and your toupee, if you've got a toupee, no problems if you do. If they're not making you do that, then the event deserves to be scammed. You get what I mean? But I just feel sorry for all the women who are paying for the 6 foot men and getting scammed. Because if that's happening, they need to get their money back. They need a money back guarantee. There can't be one person under 6 foot in that event. And also, I sort of have to respect how shallow you are. In that sense, just because I'm you're open about it. You're not hiding it. You're not oh my God, no, it doesn't matter. You're no, it matters. This is what I want. And I kind of have to respect that. You know what you want and you're unapologetic about it. And to be fair, I can't hate on that. I've got a little bit of respect there, I have to say, because a lot of people would be in denial. So yes, if you're a guy who's 6 foot or thinks he's 6 foot and going to the event, let me know how it is. If you're a girl attending an event, let me know how it is. Tell me what the pickings were like, because I am so interested and I'd love an update on that. But anyways, I've got some film reviews or some film recommendations. I've watched 2 films on Christmas Day, one of them being Frankenstein, which was amazing, by Guillermo del Toro, and the other one was Wake Up Dead Man. I believe it's by Rian Johnson, the director of, I think it was The Last Jedi. Was it The Last? No, yeah, The Last Jedi. I think it's the second film in the sequel trilogy. I don't really care for it too much because it was, yeah, we won't go into that. However, I watched both those films. I'll start off with Wake Up Dead Man. Wake Up Dead Man. It's not a bad film. It's actually a decent watch, and also it's free on. I say it's free. It's on Netflix. So if you've got Netflix, like everybody else on the planet, apparently, go and watch it. It's not. It's a nice little whodunit. It's very interesting. It's a bit of a slow burner at the beginning because Benoit Blanc doesn't come up, I don't think, until 40 minutes, 50 minutes into the film where the incident does occur. But it's a lot of world building. You get to know the characters a bit. You get to meet our protagonists, all of our suspects, all that good stuff. And it gives you sort of a semblance of the setting. It's very nice. The church setting. I think it adds a unique twist. It's a bit like Murder on the Orient Express, that series with Death on the Nile, Haunting in Venice. I love it that every single film is a different setting. It adds a little bit of uniqueness to it. And I think it just freshens up the little, the genre and the whodunit. Is it as good as the first one? I think the first one's the best. I think this one's probably second. Glass Onion, I didn't like too much. It was alright. It was an alright film, but I know, just something about it just didn't resonate with me. But for me, it goes Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man, and then finally, you've got Glass Onion. That's me in particular. But if you've got Netflix, if you've got the time, go and watch it. It's a real nice watch, especially if you're watching it with like friends, family, or whatever. I think it's a film that you don't watch by yourself, just because then all of you can speculate and guess and bet on, who actually committed the crime. And I think that's crazy. Also, I watched Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Now, I have to say, I'm not sure if it got a theatre release. If it didn't, it's criminal. Because I have to say, it's an amazing film. I know I'm a bit late to it. It's been out for, I think, about like a month. Or I think it might be a month. It might only just be a few weeks or something. But it's worth the watch. The scenery, the aesthetic is amazing. Apparently, it's quite faithful to the book, which I really like. And the journey of Frankenstein, seeing that he isn't just, your typical protagonist who's a good guy and he must defeat the monster, all that stuff. It's in shades of grey. And even Jacob Elordi as the monster, he did an amazing job. Like, his acting is phenomenal. I think him as an actor has been underrated. He's a bit like Robert Pattinson. I think with the whole Twilight stuff, Robert Pattinson was sort of typecast, sort of like pushed into a box. And I think the same thing has happened with Jacob Elordi. Of course, it's the roles that he's been taking, but I feel like those are the roles he's been offered. But the fact that he did Frankenstein's monster and he pulled it off so well, it was so human. I think that's the only way I can say his performance was. It was a very human performance. And Frankenstein, Oscar Isaac's performance, was at times very monstrous. And I love that dichotomy that at times you forget who the actual monster is. And I don't want to spoil too much. If you've read the book, then the film will be no surprise to you. Of course, aesthetically and stuff like that, it might surprise you. And I know they've changed a few things between the book and the actual film just for, creative license, I guess. But Guillermo del Toro as a director, he is amazing. He's phenomenal. I love his, stop motion animation stuff. That is amazing. And him directing Frankenstein, I was just like, this is a film. I think he was talking about directing I think he was adapting another book or another horror thing, a horror franchise, and I'd be completely up for it. Because if this is the quality that we're going to get, like this was, for me, I liked Nosferatu earlier on this year. I think that film was absolutely amazing. The acting was good, acting was solid. Nosferatu himself by, I think it was like Bill Skarsgård, amazing. And in this one, Jacob Elordi as the monster, amazing. Oscar Isaac, amazing. The visuals, amazing. The storytelling, compelling. Like, it was just all around a good film. It's a really good watch. And again, if it does, make it to cinema, or if it was in cinema and you watched it, amazing. If it, somehow magically ends up there again, definitely go and watch it. And if you can't, again, it's a brilliant movie night. Like, get some people around or watch it by yourself. I watched it by myself and it was incredible. Get some food, get some popcorn, and just watch it. Because every single scene is just eye-catching. The characters, they're compelling. They're compelling, and that's what you want. You've got basically two protagonists in this film who are compelling, and it interchanges who the villain is through their actions, through their acts, and through their thoughts. And yeah, and even the ending of the film was just, it was heartwarming. It was touching. So if you take anything from this, it's Wake Up Dead Man. It's a good watch. Watch it with some people, but I wouldn't say it's a go out and watch immediately. Like, if you've got some time, if you've got some friends around, it's a fun little watch. But Frankenstein is a must-watch film. Like, I can't explain to you more. I don't want to spoil it, but I really loved it. I really want to watch his next film. If it is like another, if it's another film based on a horror book or anything of that sort, I want to watch that. But yes, those are my film recommendations. But I think I might end the episode there. Thank you for listening in to my little ramble. Again, I hope you had a lovely Christmas. Hope you had a lovely New Year's. Happy holidays to everybody. Also, watch those films because they're absolutely amazing. Check out those Instagram recommendations as well because they're absolutely bizarre. However, they might weird you out, I must say. It weirded me out, and I was looking at those mediums like last week. So yeah, do it at your own discretion. And yeah, thank you for watching another episode of A Fantastic Time with me, Taher Houssain.